Hey everyone, it's Chris with HotShotsCatering.com, and this is another episode of Hot Shots TV. And desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's why I bring you instant coffee. Let's get into it. So I know right now that you are experiencing hard times, much like I am. And it's not easy to be in a business that's event-driven and catering, or perhaps you're in the hospitality business or travel business, whatever business you are in. As of right now, it's probably not doing as good as it was a week ago, a month ago. And so I want to start this video before anything. I want to be positive and say, you know, we're all going to carry on and get through this. But I also want to reach out to those who are out there working very hard right now, the doctors and nurses and restaurant owners and employees, the restocking people, everyone out there that's working or trying to make it work right now. You are heroes. And, you know, if you're staying at home, believe it or not, you're a hero too, because you're saving other people's lives. And I know that's not very easy. We all always want to have a break, but then when we all get a break, it's not easy to do that either. So I want to dedicate this, Hot Shots TV today, this episode, to the doctors and nurses and all you guys out there who are working very hard through this time and trying to make things work. Some of you guys are giving up your time and giving up things to really be out there, and some of you are in harm's way 24/7. So I want to thank you, and we want to all pray for your families and think of everyone out there that's giving their time and struggling through this hard time. So with that, I want to talk about instant coffee today. And instant coffee was really created for the Civil War, World War I, World War II, kind of advanced, but those are the times when it was really in use, more so, and had a use. And, throughout the years, it's gotten better. It started out as something very basic, and it would spoil pretty quickly. But over the years, it's gotten a lot better. And a matter of fact, this brand right here, Nescafe, which was obviously from Nestle, was actually kind of the forefront of that, making it possible for the coffee to taste a lot better and to better the freeze-dried technology. And so freeze-dried coffee, throughout the years, like I said, Civil War, World War I, World War II, those are prime times because of why? Well, rationing. Right now we're talking about rationing toilet paper, but there was other times around the Depression, things of that, where we were rationing bread and food items, and people had to stand in line just to get those. And coffee was one of those items. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of how freeze-drying coffee works and made, but pretty much what instant coffee is it's basically just regular coffee. Have you ever seen like the astronaut packs, and they freeze dry the food, like the ice cream and all that? It's pretty much the same thing. A lot of times there's kind of different processes in which they do this, but majority is freeze dried. And really what that allows us to do is have instant coffee, no waste, because the coffee is literally just a tablespoon into a cup of hot water. You stir it and you got ready-made coffee ready to go. So it's really unique, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people look at instant coffee as the cheapest and the lowest you can go for coffee. And quite honestly, that's probably true. You can get a lot of coffee out of these little simple jars here without using a coffee brewer. All you need is hot water. So it's something that's very interesting, and we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it here. But let's first take a look at these coffees. As we look at them, I'm also going to be putting them together, each one, and we're going to try them out and see what they taste like. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to try some of our instant coffee. And let's just start off with Nescafe. Now, this is the most generic Nescafe that I could find. It's a Classico. In all these, let's start off with price. I think they all hovered around $6 to $8. Juan Valdez might have been the most expensive, maybe close to 12. I can't, honestly, I don't remember. But I could tell you this, they weren't overly, I mean, that's pretty expensive, but I want to say they've all been around $6 to $8, somewhere in there. And obviously the bigger sizes you get, which I don't even know how many servings this thing does. I'm sure it does quite a bit. Yeah. It says 100 cups. So this one canister can give you about 100 cups of coffee. And you know, really that makes a lot of sense. Instant coffee, freeze-dried coffee, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get a lot more rationing out of it, which is obviously why it was very popular with the military and when rationing was a big thing, to help serve a lot of people with the least amount of product needed to being used. So let's start out. All of these, interesting enough, are pretty much the same directions. Pretty much 1 single teaspoon and 6 ounces of water. So we're gonna try this here. And I think it seems like you put the grounds in first. So let's try that. We'll just start with 1 teaspoon. I'm going to start with our hot water here and just gently pour this in. These are about 8-ounce cups, so we're gonna do just a shy, just to see what we get here. Okay. Next thing we do is we just stir it up. Now I can tell, it smells good. It smells like a hot cup of coffee. But let's see how it tastes. I must say not bad. That, believe it or not, that's actually a pretty good cup of coffee. Now I will say the first time I ever tried an instant coffee, it was back when I was in military school, and I actually had the Asian version of this, and I believe it's very popular in Asia. I'm not too sure why, maybe just because of cost of it and the ease of it, but that's actually a very, very just good cup of coffee, believe it or not. I'm actually very, very impressed. So that's just the Nescafe Classico. It doesn't taste bitter, doesn't taste too sugary, just tastes like a really surprisingly bold cup of medium coffee. Maybe a hint of acidity, but other than that, it's overall pretty good. So yeah, I actually enjoy that so far. So we're gonna put that over there. Let's grab another cup. Let's move on to our next one. So that's Nescafe, the classic. I think they call it the Classico. Now let's go to Folgers. Let's see what Folgers is all about. Now this one actually has a nice little flip top that you can flip open. And this one has kind of a interesting shiny appearance to the grounds, I guess I should say. So let's do the same thing here. We're gonna put a teaspoon of that in. And I'm just gonna start with a teaspoon. You know, this still has a little, my spoon was wet, so there's a little bit on there. So just put a little dash more in there. This little size here makes up to 45 6-ounce cups. So you could see, you could take this camping, you could take this, and obviously in a time of need like now, if you really needed some coffee that's gonna last you for a while, you don't wanna keep going out to the grocery store, you know, getting K-cups or what have you. This might be a good option right now to check out. So let's add some water here to this guy. This one smells pretty good as well. Let's try that out. Stir it up. I know you're probably thinking, well, you just had a little bit more coffee on there attached to the spoon. It's all going to come off now. So yeah, well, it might. Let's see what it tastes like. Definitely a black cup of coffee. this one is very dark. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water to it. I'll tell you what, this one's not my favorite. It's really, really dark. I don't know why. Even my spoon is black and blacker than what it is. But it's very, very dark. Has a little bit of a kind of a unique taste to it, more like that Folgers taste, but not fresh. You know, it tastes kind of more oily. Kind of has not really a pleasant taste to it. More like a, I don't know, tar taste. I don't know how to explain it, but definitely not my favorite one so far. Maybe it just needs a little bit more water. You know, the ratios of these things, they only do as well as they do. But so far, this one's probably my least favorite. Now, I started out too, this is a Walmart coffee, freeze-dried coffee, the Great Value. Let's try this guy. And the instructions are the same, 1 rounded teaspoon. Okay, so let's just try that. And I'm surprised, to be honest with you, the little amount of coffee I'm putting in here, you wouldn't think would actually make a decent, you know, 6 ounces isn't a lot, but you know, you probably do 2 teaspoons and that would do you fine for a 12 ounce, 12 ounce, you know, and that would be a pretty nice cup of coffee. Okay. Aromas, a lot of this aroma is very much the same. It has a unique smell to it too. I don't know, it almost kind of like a chemical, I don't know if that's the term, chemically kind of smell. That one's not bad. I'll tell you, I'm actually surprised. It's definitely, to me, better than the Folgers. Doesn't have a lot of taste there, it kind of falls off. It's very similar to the Nescafe, but the flavor doesn't stay. You know, it's kind of more like a, you know, when you drink a cheap cup of coffee, that's kind of what this tastes like. And obviously it is a cheap cup of coffee, so. Well, I burned my lips there. Yeah, so it's okay. But you know, a lot of this stuff, as we found with Walmart, you've probably seen a lot of my videos so far, they're all okay as far as the products they produce. Now, let's try the Juan Valdez. Now, I'm very hopeful with this one. This one's grind looks more like little rocks, which is kind of interesting. Same process. This one actually even tells you less as far as what you need to do. A teaspoon. Now, the other thing that's interesting is you don't have to use water with this. You can actually also just heat up some hot milk. I'm making a mess already. You can heat up some hot milk and put that with this and see what happens. You know, it's probably very good as well. So let's add some water, and I apologize. I probably should have downed the hot water with this. Burnt my tongue that last time. This one smells pretty rich, and this one's interesting. I can actually see the oils coming off of this coffee. Almost looks like, kind of like when rain hits the ground. It's very, very weird, very interesting. So let's mix this one up. I feel like I'm mixing these up. The plus with all these, I'll tell you so far, I don't see any clumps. I don't see anything weird like that, like a protein shake or anything. They all dissolve pretty nicely, I would say. That one's pretty good. I actually like that one a lot. It's definitely a medium blended coffee, and it's obviously Juan Valdez, Colombian. Very good cup of coffee. A little bit more acidic than the Nescafe. It's a little hot, so I apologize. I'm trying to get a good taste of it. I think it's a little bit, maybe even a little bit more robust. I'm gonna try this. This is this one again now that it's cooled off. It might be a little bit more robust, I would say. It's still obviously a medium ground coffee, but a medium blend coffee too. Pretty good. I actually like this one. I might like this one, maybe even better than the Nescafe. These two are my favorites so far. The only thing I don't like about this, and Colombian coffee I'm finding is kind of like this, but I do think that, I think it's a little acidic. But you know, for Colombian coffee, I've noticed a lot of them have that trait to them. The Nescafe, if I was gonna choose right now, what's my favorite one? I would say the Nescafe is probably my favorite coffee right now out of these. The Folgers was probably my least favorite. Now, that could have just been the way I made it. You know, it also is the only one that has kind of a shininess to it, if that makes sense, to the ground. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just the process is different. I don't even know if they say how they do these processes. As previously mentioned, if they freeze dry them or kind of air dry them or what have you. This one wasn't bad, but there wasn't, I would say it'd be okay, probably along the lines. This one had a bad taste to me. This one really had not a lot of taste to me. The Nescafe tasted very good. I thought it was like a good standard cup of coffee that most Americans would drink every day. Juan Valdez, a little acidic, but it probably has a lot more flavor after you drink it for a while than probably the Nescafe. Maybe that's what I'm missing. But anyways, go out, get some coffee if you can go out right now. You know, if you're gonna be going to the store, let me put it that way. If you're gonna be going to the store, you know, it doesn't hurt to get some freeze dried. You never know when you're gonna need it. I do not know how many years this stuff lasts, but I'm sure it's more than a year if you keep it sealed and in a dark place. Whereas, you know, even whole bean coffee kind of gets stale after a while. Stuff like this will probably last 30 years and you can always make it. So, you know, if you want to do a little bit of investment, you know, $8, $6 into something. Another thing I've seen too is freeze dried. They also have freeze dried. I think they mix it with milk. I don't know, but they have some that are like cafe lattes and things like that. You can experiment with those too. Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you like. And that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay inside, stay safe, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.